Hello and welcome to the 2024 Virtual Spec P71 Racing Series. My name is Brett Madsen. I am the owner of Spec P71 and also your host for this year and announcer. Here today at Daytona International Raceway for round one. We got off to a little bit of a rocky start as per usual with our live streams here, but we're here in practice. Watching, let's see here, we're on James Pendry, who has the current lead in the practice times, it appears, as the times are populating since we just rejoined the server. So yeah, we're excited to be back here to this year. This time for this event in particular, I'm going to be the lone commentator. So I apologize if I get a little bit boring just talking to myself here. Feel free to comment away in the YouTube chat. Be sure to respond to as many messages as I possibly can here. We see James with his very unique livery as he's driving around the track here. See if we could do a nice little look around this drum livery. That is a unique mirrored livery on the right hand side. I asked him what the point was for behind this livery, and basically what he told me is he asked his friends for a term to utilize as his livery, and someone mentioned drum, so he created a drum livery. Not super deep, but you know, it's a livery. It's something that I don't think I would ever create, but then again, I am not James Pendry. Looking like we have a total of 15 drivers in this first event. Daytona is going to be it's going to be a very much a track where you're going to want to pair up with someone, no matter who is who you're pairing up with, whether your arch nemesis is in real life or in the sim world or whatever. You're going to want to find another driver to be able to bump draft down the back straight and the front straight, as well as through all the NASCAR turns. We have a little bit less of a turnout this time around, 15 drivers for this particular event, but in total we have 28 drivers signed up. Believe that it just may be the in-between time between Christmas and New Year's, so I assume we will have more drivers for round two for Watkins Glen. Regardless, 15 drivers here today, and they are all ready and all very, very fast and willing to take that first win away from their competitors. Lots of repeat drivers this year. One driver, though, however, the driver that won last year, Jake Sneddon, did not return. It's unfortunate because we have some really top-tier drivers that are driving this year. Some that are in the actual ranking, the Assetto Corsa rankings, they're rated an A+. Like, they are very, very fast. One of which is going to be, where is he at? I do not see him. Oh, there he is. Colin M has the highest rating out of everybody in our server here today, rocking that very unique cop car front end with the taxi rear end livery. And I picked out the numbers for it, of course, 710, just in case if he does end up upside down, all you read is oil. I see we have a comment from Layla in the chat. Hello, Layla. Good to see you. Looks like, what was this the same track as last year? No, so these are all brand new tracks this year. I sent out a survey at the very end of last year asking drivers what they wanted to do, and pretty much none of them wanted to do Southern California tracks again. So we opened it up a bit. We are doing full national level tracks. So we've got Daytona, we've got Watkins Glen, we've got Road Atlanta, we've got all the top tier tracks that you would see IMSA or other series run. And it should be a lot of fun with these cars. We did, however, include 2 tracks that we ran this year, one of which is in Southern California, but it is basically a requirement for this series. It's just so good with this car. You got Big Willow Springs International Raceway, and then we also have Spring Mountain, Charleston Peak, which is going to be very, very fun. And it appears we have a message from one of our drivers, probably watching the stream from his Android Dash on the interior of his car. Can't see it from here, but in the dash on his car, he probably has it up on YouTube. That is it's a working dash. So you could actually watch this entire stream on YouTube if you want it while you're racing. I guarantee you that is what Sam's doing. Even though he did say he does also have a second screen, but I feel like he's going to do both. But yes, Sam, you can race. Great in-car shot here of the glorious sound of the 4.6 liter 2 valve, all 220 real horsepower worth in that 4,000 pound frame of a car. As we head onto the oval here, almost onto the apron. I think Sam might be indulging in some of his Tutoring Tuesday tendencies with a little bit of alcohol as he goes around this oval here. But we'll stay on board as he comes in through the bus stop. This is going to be a key section for this track, as we almost have it over rev. And we see Amy Dilks take a shortcut through the bus stop there. It's gonna be an issue. You get it on the brakes a little bit too late with this car, or the brakes are either too cold or too hot. You're gonna have a bad time going through there. A lot of time can be made up through that section, as well as a lot of time can be lost. Mr. Ted in the YouTube chat says 220 is a perfect number of horses. I tend to agree, but 2025 real Spec P71 tends to disagree. We're going to be adding quite a few more additions to the cars in 2025, but more on that once these real series starts coming around. Staying on board here with Sam as he starts another lap going into turn 1. That's going to be a key moment at the beginning of this race. A lot of drivers are going to try to dive in deep there. There is a lot of space, but it can run out real quick. Little bit of a plow there on the exit to the second complex. Matt K says, oh boy, 225 horsepower now. It's going to be more than that, but again, I will say more later on that as we continue to work out our partnership deals for 2025. We hear a little bit of the Senna throttle application there as we come out of the hairpin while we're on board with Sam, and now he's just tossing it in. Good old drift, very nice, very nice. And back onto the oval we go. Moving on to some other drivers here. We have one of our real-life Spec P71 drivers back out here, Chase Hudson. The Hudson Hornet, as we like to call him, after an incident earlier this year in the real series that ended up with him on his roof at Button Willow. He is okay, of course, and he actually has already bought a brand new Crown Vic to come back out and redeem himself in 2025. We're excited to have him back. We're excited to see what he's able to do and continue to develop as a driver. And right behind him, we have, and we see Chase go spinning off there. As we see Tyler Herring coming through, loving the new livery he's got. Haunt Hounds. We got a very interesting setup going. I love the hood vents. I can't remember what that's called when you do like the little color change on the like an exhaust tip kind of thing, like the burnt titanium, I think it is. But overall, loving this livery. Very, very cool. We have a few new names here as well. We have Andreas Specht with the I don't know if I could even say this without getting demonetized and in trouble for it, but yes, we have that livery that from that one guy that's in Florida that does things with Crown Victorias. Very nicely done livery. Good replica. Excited to have Andreas here and see what he's capable of doing. I know he is another top level driver as far as the center course of safety and skill ratings go. So he'll be one to watch. And then one of my favorite liveries, as you guys might have seen this on our Spec P71 drift car, is the U-Haul livery for 2069. You could rent that motherfucker. This is one of those liveries that I hope to at some point be able to, like, if we get a rental car for Spec P71, this is 100% what's going on in the car. This is too good not to do it. Excited to have Lilac back. See what they're capable of doing this year. And then I see Matt in the chat making his opinion very well known of the FF car that was previously shown on screen. Matt with the Ford Performance livery with Stinger Motorsport as a sponsor on the back. Stinger, of course, owned by the leprechaun, Sean Day. Yes, you did hear that right. He is a leprechaun. It's fine. He brings good luck. And then we have another new driver, Heinrich Firefast Jr., with a very nice, very clean livery, orange and black. Loving the cutouts for the headlights here. Very, very like street stock style oval track racing kind of thing. And then we have the Ian Brandt mobile. Every year, Matt Korchak takes it upon himself to create a very unique livery for Ian. This year, we've ended up with a United Healthcare livery. And then, of course, I got the image, the beautiful image of Ian on the trunk with some support for some guy named Luigi. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but yeah. Very, very nicely done on this livery. And we are switching over to quali now, so now it's going to be a mad rush out of the pit lane here. This is another amazing livery that I appreciate. I did have to tell him to tone it down a little bit. He had the plaid going on the windshield, and it was causing a little bit of a distraction there. But I love that even his pit crew has the plaid on the canopies. It's amazing. I wish. There we go. Okay. So yeah, proudly Canadian, of course. I'm sure Tedward, if he's watching this, he's probably thoroughly enjoying that there is another Canadian out there supporting him. We hope that you're back soon, Ted. We want you in here racing with us. And there's the drum livery, of course. But let's see. Moving on. Of course. Oh, how could I forget? Oh, I know I'm gonna get bashed for how I say this, but Bucky's or I guess some people say Busey's. I don't know what the actual pronunciation is. I'm not cultured enough for that, clearly. But this is an amazing livery. Very well done. And it even has what I expect from Phil, the boomer caps on the name. And here we go. We got qualifying is started. Drivers are going. Everyone's getting out there. Let's watch the mad rush out of pit lane. Ah, I see. Mr. Ted is Tedward in the YouTube chat. Cool to see you here. And yes, Matt, Leprechaun is very correct. And I see Sam is channeling his inner Stroll. Sam is a huge fan of Lance Stroll, believes him to be the best. Of course, he was also a huge fan of Nicholas Latifi, Nicholas Gotifi, as one might say. Two of his favorite drivers, two drivers he believes to be the best in all of F1. Excited to see what Stroll is capable of next year and see if he's able to maneuver out of some of the sand pits that we know he's going to get caught in. I can't wait for Sam to reply to that one later. You see Colin on his way to the start finish, going through turn 3 now as he heads towards the bus stop. Going to be the first one out there to set a lap time. Loving that you could hear the wind noise over the exhaust more than anything else as he goes by. That's the beautiful power of the 4.6 liter 2-valve sewing machine that's under the hood. And for his first hot lap, let's go ahead and ride along. No pressure, Colin, of course. Layla in YouTube chat asks what the hardest turn to take is. That's a tough one. It's gonna be, for me, probably getting turn 1 right. Getting the car set up correctly for this is so difficult. So we see Colin go quite a bit wide through there on entry. Every lap is going to be different. Every lap the car is going to feel incredibly different. So knowing that information is just, it's difficult to know where your braking points are going to be and how you're going to get there. Next most difficult is going to be the entry to bus stop, I believe. That's going to be another thing where every lap, the entire course is going to have a very different feel. Car is going to be at a very different spot. Tires are going to be hot. Tires are going to be cold. Brakes are going to be hot. Brakes are going to be cold, etc. So you're not going to really know specifically the best location to set up the car. It's going to be different every single time. And you got to be able to acknowledge that, compensate for it, and get the most out of it. So you see Colin start to make his way onto the back straightaway here, heading towards the bus stop. One of the great things about the new Cosmic front suspension that we have on the mod, or Spec P71 mod for 2024, is it's got a lot more feel to it. So it has the power steering, thanks to the help from Court Marshall and JPG from the CSP Discord, as well as like just the Cosmic in general. It allows you to have so much more feel. So when you're going around the banking of this oval, it's kind of, you can feel the steering wheel is just going to hold you right into that groove at the very bottom, which is really nice compared to before. It didn't care about the oval. You wouldn't be able to feel anything as you go through there. Adds that extra little aspect to realism as you're going around this. I do, however, wish It was like my car where I was going around the banking of the Auto Club Speedway, and all I could feel was the ball joints and the hub bearings screaming for their dear life. But I don't know if that's going to be something that we could necessarily replicate in this mod as of yet. But it looks like Colin laying down the flyer of a lap with a 223.363. Looks like Chase Hudson currently is in second place with a 224.070. And we have Philip Aaron with a 224.981. Go ahead and start cycling through some of our other drivers here. We see Stephen Moore. We haven't talked about him as of yet. Another very, very fast driver. In our previous series that we've run, he's done some TA2 driving, the SCCA Trans Am cars, as well as a couple of laps with the Spec P71 cars. We see Ian Brandt pull off into the middle of the track. Hopefully everything's okay there. Probably needs to take a bathroom break, I would assume. I couldn't imagine another reason for him pulling off there. As we see Steven getting into some traffic here on his hot laps. His time is winding down. 3 minutes left here. Hopefully he gets by him, so maybe his next lap will be a clean one. But yeah, Stephen Moore, very, very fast driver, very clean driver. Pleasure to have on back in the series this year. Another driver we haven't talked much about here is Amy Dilks. Second time back, ran the series with us last year. This year, running the Iron Dames livery that is absolutely gorgeous. Love the hot pink, love the black. It's a beautiful livery. Perfect livery for the boat. So we see her making her way around the banking here. Take a quick look at that livery. Women driven by dreams, Iron Dames, race to inspire. Very beautiful livery. Doing a great job turning some laps, getting used to the car again. No, she had mentioned that she had some upgrades going for her. We see Heinrich Firefast off pace there a little bit. I think he might have spun through the bus stop. So we see Colin down to a 223.201 now. Sam down to a 223.508. Very tight battle between those two. They're getting considerably faster with Philip Aaron right behind with a 223.775. Great job by Sam pulling off that super, super fast lap. I'm sure he's pulling to the pits now to make a comment about Lance Stroll and Nicholas Cotifi. So we switch back over to our current leader in qualifying, Colin M. See those brakes glowing, definitely pushing that car to its absolute limit here. Doing a great job as we start cycling back around. We have a cluster of cars here. We've got Chase Hudson, Matt Korchek, and Tyler Heron all together. Doing a very interesting strategy of, I assume, battling each other on the qualifying laps. I mean, if it's practice, it's practice, I guess, I suppose. Sam says, I channeled my inner Stroll and tried to win my dad's affection back from Alonso. Well then, good on you. Did a great job. Almost had it. I think you are in second place currently. Yes, second place. You would have won that affection back, man, from Alonso if you got that first place. As we see these drivers lining up. Who knows? Maybe they're just drafting each other at this point, trying to get a good run, trying to get a good feel for each other. See how the draft is going to work, who they're going to be working with. As we see Colin cross the line again with a 223.467. Don't believe that's any faster than previous. That's okay. He still writes the check, Sam. I suppose so. That works, if that works for you. As we see Philip Aaron knocking out a 223.432, taking Sam down to third. No, now fourth. As we see James Pendry with the last minute flyer of a 223.225, getting them up to second place. As Lawrence says, doesn't matter if it's a centimeter or a kilometer, winning is winning. But what is that in freedom units, Ted? I'm not sure. Oh, and we see Heinrich going into a wall as he crosses the finish line here. Having a little bit of fun, it seems. Looks like Colin is going back around for another lap as we head into overtime and finish up this session. I believe once drivers all return back to their pit stalls, it should cycle to the next session. So we'll see if drivers want to finish their current lap and then just cycle back to the pits, and we'll get this race and this party started. But congratulations to Colin on his pole position for the first round of Spec P71 here. We have James Pendry in second, Philip Aaron in third, Sam D in fourth, Stephen Moore in fifth, Chase Hudson in sixth, Kevin Woodward in seventh, Tyler Heron in eighth, Matt Korchik in ninth, Lilac Zier in 10th. Colin coming out of nowhere with another flyer, a 222.624. What an amazing lap right there. Really setting the pace. Looks like we got a couple more drivers that cycled in with a hot lap there. Looks like, let's see here. Yep, Chase ended up getting up to 5th place for the start of this race. Hopefully the session starts moving. Looks like, okay, we're at finishing up overtime here. Should be cycling over in a moment. There it is. Hopefully it does not line me up on the grid, because that's awkward. I will have to move my car off the grid after the race gets started, but we'll cycle over to the gentlemen that are on grid here. That is not an ideal camera for the start, so we'll go ahead and just move that over here by ourselves with our drone cam. Get up in the booth here. We'll try not to forget that our car is on the track, which I should probably turn off the force feedback in my wheel just in case. Yes, interference. We're just another chicane. NASCAR's got their own chicane around this track. We've got the Spec P71 chicane that's on the front straightaway. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Interestingly enough, this was supposed to be, I believe, a night race, but maybe we'll get there in time, or maybe it'll be the second race. I can't remember how this was supposed to be set up, but I think things might have changed. Technically speaking, there was supposed to be rain this evening, but I was not about to do that to our drivers. Oh, we've got some cars stuck in the pits. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and restart that session. See if they can get on grid now. If not, they might just have to start from the pits. I don't know how to really combat that. It's the set of course of things as usual. Is Sam actually... No, he is still very much stuck in the pits. Okay, well... Let's see, who else is stuck in the pits here? All right, well, this is a brand new track. We will have to let the track creator know. Oh, it's just Ian in the pits. That's fine. But no, we'll make a note of this for post review of this. Oh wait, no, that's not Ian's car. It says Brand, but that's not Brand's car. That is Tyler. So Tyler and Sam will have to make their start from the pits, unfortunately. It's very odd that it's doing that. And we try to move our camera back here. Hopefully we get there in time. We've got 15 seconds until the race begins. So you see lights are out here. And camera is freaking out. We're doing a great job here, of course. And we see the drivers get ready to go here. Lights are red. And they are off. It's a very unique camera setup going on there. So we see drivers heading down into turn one here, keeping it nice and clean so far. A little bit of bumping and banging going on. Phil getting a little squirrely with everybody around him. So we see Sam and Tyler off in the distance quite a bit. Probably waiting for the pack, I would hope. That's mainly because of the whole start finish issue. Oh, there we go. So that's perfect. So they're waiting up. They're doing the right thing here. And we need to do the right thing and move our car to pits. There we go. So now we are not a danger to everybody and ourselves on track. So we see Colin taking a nice commanding lead here in P1. That could all change, though, as they head onto the back straightaway and the drivers behind him start working together to get that bump draft going. Our race control collision notification is going nuts right now. We've got some battles going on behind. Looks like we got some bump drafting going on from Phil to James here. So we see James's car floating a little bit because of Assetto Corsa's very unique way of handling positioning online. So we see Phil getting up there. Oh, getting real close, getting in, diving in. See if he can make it stick through the bus stop here. So we see the big one behind. Looks like we've got Matt Korchik. I believe there might have been some influence from the pink Iron Dames car on that one, unfortunately. I'm sure Matt is probably getting very quiet in the driver chat right now from that situation. Hopefully he's able to make a nice recovery here and get back up towards the front. We return back towards the action. Up front between James and Phil. Which, thank you, Layla, for reminding me to not forget my car. I did move it out of the way. Thankfully, no one has died. But it appears that James almost went off there. So, I mean, Phil is putting on a decent amount of pressure here. James might have to turn off the anime that he's watching on the onboard in his Android head unit that he's got. He had mentioned that he's going to be watching the first episode of Nokoton on repeat. Good little battle we've got going on here as we look a little further behind Stephen Moore and Tyler Heron battling it out. Got 11 minutes left in this first race here. Moving back to Andreas and Lilac. A little bit of a back and forth between these two. We see Andreas going around the outside here as they head towards the bus stop. See if he can make it thick. Dives in late on the brakes. Very nicely done. See if he can keep it under control here all the way through the exit. And he makes the pass and does it very, very cleanly. Now those two need to work together, hopefully to get back up to the cars that are in front of them. It's going to take a little bit of time to get there, but if they utilize the bump draft, they could definitely do it. Moving further back here. Looks like Heinrich giving Amy a little bit of a bump. We see Ian Brandt coming down the inside here. Got my eye on these two. See what this will end up happening here. We head into turn one. Ian looking to make that pass. Closes the deal there. Super deep into the braking zone. See if he can make it stick. Oh, as we see Lilac lose a little bit of control there, getting into the wall. Lilac dropping down a few places now, unfortunately, leaving Andreas all by himself without the draft. Hopefully he could make something happen there, try to catch back up. And doing whatever he can to hold on to his position. Goes a little wide there. Lilac starts moving back up. Looks like Matt and Amy battling it out once again. Moving back towards the front. Looks like we've got a new battle arising here. We have Colin M versus James Pendry. Getting in on that bump draft there. Whoa, as we almost see an incident there. James pushing so hard it almost pushed Colin straight into a wall. How very NASCAR of him to do that. Also, how very NASCAR of everybody to not necessarily care about track limits. So we see James moving back in for that bump draft, trying to get Colin away from Phillip behind them. Get enough distance on them that if they're far enough ahead, I feel like James is going to try to set him up for that pass. See, a little bit further behind, we have Sam D and Chase Hudson going at it here. Probably trying to give each other a nice little push towards Phil. See if they can get back into it as we see Chase with a nice four-wheel slide into turn one there. Looking at our YouTube chat here, I see Boxy Luxury is asking, where do we post the real Spec P71 racing? So that we don't actually have a live feed for that, but we do try to post some stories throughout the day at the track whenever we're out there. This is just significantly easier to do a live stream on because there's no requirement of thousands of dollars worth of cameras and people to take care of those cameras as the cars go around. But eventually, that would be a lovely goal to have, is to be able to live broadcast all of our events, much like Grid Life does. But for now, we will stick to doing the virtual series. So we move our way back up front. It looks like James Pendry finally got around calling him. See if he can hold him off. But that draft is going to be a killer here. And it looks like Phil has gotten a little bit closer here. So I assume their battle has definitely caused some time to be lost for those two up front, bringing in Phil. A little further behind, we have Chase Hudson and Sam D. Those two really need to bring it together. They've got 6 minutes to really crank up the heat here, start bump drafting each other, try to get that gap closed up so that it could be a 5-car battle instead of just a 3-car battle at the front. Moving further back here, we see Matt Korchak just on an absolute rager here, moving his way back up front. Now in 11th spot after he was, might have had a little help going around, I believe, in the bus stop. Doing a very good job making that recovery. A little further back, we've got some cars just kind of scattered out. The ones that are missing out on the draft here. Tyler and Steven doing all they can. So we see Sam and Chase. Sam gets around Chase here. Sam must have made a great pass, or Chase must have made an error at some point. Doing a great job battling each other out here, but not really helping their lap times by battling each other. So they should definitely start working together, as we see a plane landing in the background. See, we have a question from Fomoko Forever. Any word on Spec P71 making it to the East Coast? So we'd love to make it out there to the East Coast. The issue is we need to focus on expanding in Southern California first. We need to make it worthwhile. Our idea is eventually to have 4 different corners. We want Spec P71 in Southern California, Spec P71 up in the Pacific Northwest, Spec P71 down in the Southeast, and then Spec P71 up in the Northeast. That would be the ideal situation, and every year in the center of the country we'd have like some sort of Spec P71 finale kind of thing. But eventually we'll get there. We just need to be able to grow the numbers in Southern California to necessitate the move, as we see Chase get into the wall a little bit there. Then I see Layla has a question. So how does bump drafting work? How does it help? So bump drafting is the idea of when you're... Wow, Chase hanging it out there. Hopefully, oh, he catches onto it. Good job. So bump drafting is the idea that when you're on a straightaway typically, or for NASCAR, it's pretty much anywhere around an oval, that you get as close to the car in front of you's bumper, and you just gently start pushing them. So when you're behind another car, there's obviously less air hitting your car, which creates less drag. So you're able to go faster. And that being able to go faster when you're behind somebody else, you could push the car in front of you so you can catch the people in front of them that don't have any help. So the idea is that the car behind is basically acting as an extra little bit of like horsepower for the car in front to get everybody closer together. So we see up front, we've got another battle going on here between Colin and James as we're winding down to 2.5 minutes. Great battle between these two. We ride along here. James on the outside. going into the kink on the infield. Looks like Colin is pulling a little ahead here. Does a little bit of a deeper braking. Pushes him a little far outside. James is maintaining, but Colin is not relenting. He wants that inside line for the next corner going onto that long back straightaway. See if he can make it work. James goes a little wide there, but he's carrying more speed. And James maintains the lead here. This is going to be winding down to one heck of a battle. I believe we're going to have one more lap out of this. See who can come out on top in race one. Right along once again with Colin. See if he can close that gap. Fact, I think, okay, so it is like that. It's a little bit bright on the interior. I was curious about that, and I guess it's just the Florida sun, real bright. See if Colin can start closing him in. I think he's just outside the range of that draft at this point. James doing what he can to keep him shaken off so he cannot get any kind of draft on him. Colin coming in nice and deep here. Oof. That was a close one for James. Very good entry, but no margin for error on that one. See what Colin's able to do here. This is the lap. If anything is gonna happen, this is where he needs to make it happen for race one to get those take home those winners points going into race two. As they make their way towards the exit of the infield here. James doing a great job trying to hold off Colin at this point. Colin with a bit of a run. He's going to look towards the outside here to see if he can get by. He's going to try to get that draft going. Going to lose a little bit of momentum being up there as it's a longer way around the track. Doing what he can to try to make this work. This is going to be an exciting final ditch effort here. See who comes out on top. Is it going to be James Pendry or Colin M? Colin tucks it back in behind, hoping to get a better exit than James onto the final section of the NASCAR Parlor Scores. Colin goes a little bit wide there, loses his momentum. Unfortunately, I think that's going to be it for Colin. He lost a ton of momentum going through the grass there, and James is just pulling away now. James Pendry on his own here. Phil might end up actually being able to pull off a P3 here, but James Pendry with that perfect final lap in that drum livery car takes the win. With Colin M right behind, Philip Aram in third, Sam D in fourth, Stephen Moore in fifth, Chase Hudson in sixth, Tyler Herron in seventh, Andreas Specht in eighth, Lilac Zier coming across the line now in ninth, and Kevin Woodward in 10th. Matt Korchek finishing up in 11th. Great recovery by Matt there. And then we see Heinrich Firefast Jr. coming across the line in 12th. And it looks to be that Amy Dilks will take 13th, and Ian Brandt rounding up the final bit of our cars here in 14th. fantastic first race. Shout out to James Pendry, though. Just utterly perfect last lap. A very impressive job on that entry to turn one. That was immaculate. It was left no room for error, but he pulled it off to a T. Now we see all the drivers having some fun, doing some drifting as they get themselves ready for the next session. I believe the driver's going to do a nice little drive around the track. I think if they pull into the pits, we might be able to go to the next session quicker. But I'm not going to force them to do that. They're having some fun doing what they want to do right now. And that is the whole point. I am laughing, however, at the number of collisions that I'm seeing from... oh, that was a close one. Number of collisions that I'm seeing on the race control leaderboard here. Not ideal. I've got a couple pages worth of collisions to look at, but we'll see if drivers decide to actually submit a protest for any kind of incidents that occurred. So we see James make the safest of entries to pit lane, of course. Yeah, fantastic drive by James Pendry as well as Colin M. It's unfortunate that final sector through the bus stop cost Colin that photo finish, but I'm sure we'll have a similar result in the next round, or next session, next race that's coming up with a reverse leaderboard. So basically, there's going to be a reverse start. Top 5 competitors should be showing as reverse grid. But we'll see what happens, however, with the start on this, because I'm very curious since 2 of the drivers were caught stuck in the pits on the start on the last one. So I'm wondering if that's going to happen again. We shall see. As we have a countdown of about a minute here. So it'll be 4th and 8th position that would get start in the pits, allegedly. According to the notes that are coming from Sam D here. That was indeed a mild bonk, Ted. Once again, Ted, you're deeply missed on this one, as well as your fancy livery that you had been cooking up for this series. But definitely save that for next year then, I guess. So we have 10 seconds in our countdown here. Once again, we'd like to thank you all for joining us this evening. This entire series is brought to you by BTM Sim Sport, the creator of the Spec P71 mod, as well as Carter's Customs, one of our main sponsors for the real virtual virtual Spec P71 series. No, the real Spec P71 series. And it would appear that the weather, this is supposed to be a night race, but it appears that we are not getting night races today. We had to make a change from the live weather just due to the simple fact that currently Florida is being rained out. So we ended up having to just utilize a factory setting, but unfortunately I believe that setting also changed the time of day for this event, which is really a bit of a bummer. This was supposed to be at nighttime. I don't think that got updated, and I don't think I could actually manually change that here, just for the ooh and ah factor of the race. Now, it does not look like I have that option. I believe... Nope. Not going to be in there. Well, anyway, we have 30 seconds to the start of the race, so I'll go ahead and scratch that whole idea. Looks like we've got P4 and P8 missing again, or we got a couple missing, I think. Yes, we love Assetto Corsa, but we don't love the quirkiness sometimes. Looks like, yep, P4, P8, once again, stuck in the pits. As we see our drivers lined up here. And they're off. Don't worry about that car that's not moving at the very end. That is the spectator car that should be automatically moving to the pits, but is not. Let me see if I could do that manually. So we see the drivers take off here, going into that first corner. Stephen Moore gets spun around in turn one here. Taken out by James Pendry. That is an unfortunate occurrence there. James just getting a little trigger happy on the entry to that corner there. Hopefully Stephen can make a recovery. Looks like Sam and Tyler waiting up. Yep, we had a bit of death. We've got some horn hawking going. We've got all kinds of things going. And it looks like, yes, drivers have given up their positions once again. Moving a little further back, we've got a little bit of a pack going on here. But let me go ahead and move our car off of the track. Hopefully that did it. I believe it did. Forgot that I had mapped a reset car button, so I did that. See, 3 wide going into the oval section as we see Heinrich Firefast get spun around. Don't know if he had some help there or not from Stephen Moore, but unfortunately the orange car is coming together there. Looks like James Pendry back in the lead already here. Taking that commanding lead. Don't know whether or not that's going to hold in court, though. There may be a penalty for James afterwards, depending on whether or not Stephen Moore decides to file a protest on that move that occurred in turn 1. As everyone starts to get settled in after a bit of a chaotic start there. Look behind us here. Make our way down the front straight of Daytona. Looks like Philip is in the draft now. Getting real close. Coming up the inside as they come into the braking zone. Can he make it stick? 4-wheel slide. And they touch. Do they touch? They don't touch. They kept it clean. Did a great job keeping it clean there. Looks like we have another incident further back here. We have Amy Dilks and Stephen Moore. Stephen Moore cannot catch a break this race. He has definitely been involved in quite a few incidents here. Very unfortunate turn of events in this second of 2 races today. We head back towards the leader battle here. We have Philip Aaron really breathing down James Pendry's neck. Looks like Sam D wants to get in on the action. Our token staircase truck enjoyer in on the action here, getting after it. As we see Phil look towards the outside, see if he can make that higher line work for him. Has a little bit of a run as he's heading towards the bus stop here. Sam just hanging back, waiting for any kind of chaos to ensue here. Let's see what happens as they go into the braking zone. Looks like James reclaims the position. A little bit more fearless of an entry as we see one heck of a slide from Andreas Spec further back there. And looking even further back, we have Colin M in 8th place. Trying to recollect himself here. See if he can get back up towards the front. Looking for some help. Hopefully, Lilac can get back into that draft and give him a little bit of a push towards the front. So we see a nice 3-car battle up front here and a 4-car battle right behind that. Sam D with a flyer lap this time around, 223.277. Good little battle going here. Looks like James is holding on to the lead. Oh, we've got a little bit of a battle going on even further back here with Andreas Spec off into the dirt. Four-car battle versus 3-car battle. Oh, as we see Chase Hudson facing the wrong direction. Keep it safe, Chase. Yes, good job. Make sure that re-entry is safe, buddy, and get back out there and get going. We head back towards the front here. So you see James go insanely wide into the dirt here. This might be Phil's chance to take over the lead as well as Sam. Sam looking to make a move here. Tucks it in right behind James. James goes to the inside here, making that nose as long as he can as he dives in there. Fantastic battle between these three. So far, they've managed to keep it clean, unlike the 4 that were behind them. That appears to have been completely broken up now behind them. That battle is over, and this is the battle of the century, and they still have 8 minutes to go. See how this goes, whether or not they're going to go hard for the next 8 minutes, or they're just going to chill out and save it for the end, as we see Phil go super, super wide and get super, super drifty through the bus stop. But manages to hold on to first, effectively giving that block on the exit to the bus stop just by having a little less mile per hour than James. But James has got that draft now. He's got that draft in him at this point, so he's going for it. And it looks like he, at the moment, is out front of Phillip, but Phil is not going to give up that position easily. They're going to go 4-wheel sliding into that first turn. Who's going to hold on to it? Phil. As James goes certainly very, very wide. Nice and slidey through that sector there, giving Sam another opportunity to breathe down his neck. We look a little further back here. We have Heinrich all by himself. Amy as well. Steven trying to work his way back up. We got Ian just doing what he needs to do, staying out of trouble. Chase trying to fight his way back up after that little spin that he had. And then we have Matt Korchak doing a solid job by himself here at the moment. Looks like Colin has worked his way back up to 6th place now from 8th. Doing a great job here. Looks like Tyler is giving him some space. Tyler's just like, go by, dude. I don't want any part of it. Let's see if they work together to get back to the front. A little bit of bump drafty is always good for the soul, and we see that. It looks like Tyler's tucking in, trying to get that bump draft going for him. With Andreas right in front. Andreas doing a great job. He's all of them by himself now after that whole car squabble that occurred earlier. But yeah, if the cars in front of him make an error, he's gonna be right there. As we see Tyler going very poetically through our screen there, just nice four-wheel slide through the bus stop. Those hazards are flashing because, man, that was hazardous. Great job on that recovery there. But unfortunately, that does leave Colin once again all by himself. But who knows? If Colin is capable of catching Andreas, this could... Oh, we have a big spin. Who is around? It appears to be James Pendry is around. Big spin. Not sure what happened there. Probably a little bit of bump drafting gone wrong is my assumption. That's unfortunate for James. That's going to be a big loss on points here. I believe that pushes Colin up towards the top overall in points for this event. If Colin is able to hold on to fourth position and potentially get some more. So we see these two. Oh, and Phil ends up pulling the Phil move. This is his notorious move of he does so well, and then there's this one little moment in every race that unfortunately catches him off guard. Hopefully he's able to make a nice recovery. He's got 4 minutes to get back up towards the front, at least to a top 5. Let's see if he's able to manage it. But this leaves Sam out in front now. We've got Andreas breathing down his neck a little bit, but Sam is able to just run his laps, lap per lap, over and over again without any issue. He should be able to hold them off. But on the other hand, we have Colin coming up. Colin is just fast enough that he might be able to give Andreas a push. So this could end up being another 3-car battle at the very finish. A little further behind, we have Kevin Woodward and Tyler Herring going at it. Kevin Woodward has been a little bit of a quiet one this time. The first race seems that now he's really finding himself some battles to engage in here. Getting up to the top 5, doing a really great job. And two names that should be feared when they're next to each other for any of their other competitors are going to be Matt Korchik and Philip Aaron. Those two, if they end up working together, I know that Phil could get towards the front really, really well. And potentially add in Chase onto that train there as well. See if Chase can push Matt back up towards to Phil and see if they can get them towards a top five finish, or at least towards Lilac, who is sitting all alone with no draft at the moment. Further back, we have Amy getting those laps in, getting used to the car. Once again, as I mentioned, she's got some new brakes that she's testing out. So, yeah, well, happy to have her here. She's doing a great job learning the way of the 4,000-pound boat. As well as Heinrich as well, a brand new driver to the series. Happy to have him here, doing a great job. Ian coming in there all alone as well, but you know what? Luigi was all alone too, and he did his thing. So who knows? Maybe Ian comes from behind out of nowhere. And we have Stephen Moore. Case of just bad luck this event, this race, unfortunately, going through it with some battles that ended up with him facing the wrong direction. And then, of course, James back there in 10th. Oh, and then we happen to cut that right at the exact moment. But Matt doing the nice thing, waiting for Chase to get moving again, because he ended up spinning them around. Good on you, Matt. And further up, we have Phil trying to work his way towards Lilac. And Kevin and Tyler trying to work together here, see if they can push themselves towards the front. But it looks like Colin is indeed working with Andreas to try to get towards that, up towards Sam here. See if they could do. Mr. Ted says, what would Lance do? Well, Lance would find the one one sand pit on the track and get stuck there, but that's a whole other thing. It looks like we're gonna have one more lap to go here to see if they can get towards the front. I think the gap is just going to be too big at this point, though. Looks like we have a track cut by Ian Brandt. But the stewards have noted it, but it appears that his lap was 2.9 seconds slower than the driver in front of him, so no time gained. All Sam needs to do here is just keep hunkering down through all the way through here. So we have a very late entry from Sean Merrick. Coming in literally at the overtime. I don't think he's going to get any laps in, unfortunately. But at least he's here. Welcome, Sean, as we have a random lightning sound. But that's fine. It's probably from Sean. So we look further back here. Andreas doing a great job holding on to that second position right now. And then we have Tyler and Kevin also battling it out now. I'm sure that this is going to come to fruition in those final few corners through the bus stop. A little further back, it looks like James, or nope, this is Philip Aaron and Lilac Zier going at it. Good little battle going on there. Philip Aaron working his way back up to 6th place. Sam out in front, commanding lead going on here with Andreas behind, getting the push from Colin. But I don't know how much, yeah, that push is not going to get them to the front. If Sam makes this clean, he could do it. See these two come through the bus stop for the final time. It looks like Andreas got a very good exit to that corner. So he may be able to hold off Colin here. We'll see. See how tight that draft is. You do see him closing in just a bit. See what happens here. This is it. If this is going to be the time, this would be the time for Colin to make this move. But it looks like Sam D is your winner with Andreas Specht in 2nd place and Colin M in 3rd. And Tyler Herring just getting beaten out by just a hair by Kevin Woodward. Great race between those two at the finish there. Oh my gosh, that's going to be a photo finish between those two by 0.04. And then we have Philip Aaron in 6th, Lilac Zier in 7th, James Pendry in 8th, Matt Korchik in 9th, Chase Hudson 10th, Stephen Moore in 11th, Ian Brandt coming across the line in 12th, and Heinrich Firefast in 13th. With Amy coming onto the oval for her final corner, and then we have Sean Merrick, who gets a single lap in. I think he may have forgotten that the event was today for this. But great job, Sean. You did a good job. Down about 15 laps, comes in 15th place. That's the best I've ever seen those Spec P71 brakes ever work. And it looks like Amy has crossed the line. So that is all for round 1 here. Sam D getting swifty with it over here with that burnout, just roasting those Firestones off. Fantastic first win for him. And fantastic drive by everybody today. James Pendry doing a fantastic job winning the first race, holding off Colin through the bus stop where he lost it all. But James, unfortunately, not able to bring it in for the second race. So that puts, at the moment, Colin into the lead for the virtual Spec P71 Racing Series Championship. Sam is getting wild with this. We appreciate that from him, of course. But on that note, that is going to be the end of our broadcast here today. I appreciate you guys for all joining in. We're going to be back again 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at Watkins Glen next weekend on Sunday. Be sure to tune in and see who comes out on top. Thanks again for tuning in. See you all next time.